what everybody's talking about. We're going to have a fun show today, and so glad you have tuned in. If you've intentionally tuned in or accidentally tuned in, we don't believe in accidents. We believe in God incidences, meaning that it's perfect. It's perfect that you are listening to us right now. This is Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. I'm Debbie Georgiani along with Jerry Usher. And today we just jokingly titled the show Fur, Feathers, or Fins. How has your pet blessed your life? That's what we're talking about today. And I hope all our Take Two family got to meet our little Gracie. Marty and I have this beautiful little Maltese named Grace, and we put her on the Take Two show website, and hope you get to meet her. She's just darling, and she has blessed our life by just keeping smiles on our faces every single time we walk in from a long day of work or something of that nature. She kind of looks at us like, "You're back?" And it's always like the first time. It's kind of interesting. Jerry, I know you don't have a pet yet, but we keep working on trying to get you a dog.
Yeah, I've had pets throughout my life. Yeah, growing up, we had two dogs, a dachshund and a hound dog. And then when I was in my early 20s, I had a shepherd husky mix, a white shepherd husky mix with some black hair going down his back.
Do they shed?
Oh, boy, he shed a lot, and he chewed up carpets and did all kinds of stuff, and I was a renter at the time, so he ended up costing me a lot of money. But what about you, dear listeners? Do you find companionship? Is there even maybe a spiritual component to your interaction with your animal? Maybe you're a single person, and like Debbie said, you get home, you unlock that door after a day of work, and that dog or that cat or what have you. Debbie, you know, what else we forgot?
What?
I was reminded, you mentioned we titled the show Fur, Feathers, or Fins. There's also scales. I mean, some people have snakes for pets.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't know if I would. And what about like spiders? What would they be? That would be kind of fur. Some people keep like tarantulas and stuff.
That's true. That's true. Or rabbits or stuff like that. Yeah, that's true. There's all sorts of pets. Jerry, real quickly, what were the names of your dogs that you had growing up? The dachshund?
The dachshund was brown, so his name was Coco. And the hound dog was a female, so we called her Lady.
Oh, I love that.
And my shepherd husky mix was King.
Because he was king of the household, correct?
He ruled the roost, that's for sure.
Well, you know what I love about dogs? I was sharing it at the beginning about how when we come home, Grace looks at us like it's the first time she's ever seen us. She's so excited. She has that beautiful, just in the moment look on her face and excitement. And it's a wonderful thing. It really warms your heart. It makes you feel wanted. It makes you feel loved, appreciated. And it's a great feeling. I can see why so many of us, we have a St. Francis of Assisi statue outside in our garden. And I can just see why their pets have been a part of saints' lives and how they just bring that joy. And that's important. And God, you got to imagine that God created the animals for that exact purpose, to really brighten up brighten up paradise. So tell us about how your pet has blessed your life. Now, I know you just want to give a shout out to your pet, but they're not going to probably be listening to the show. So maybe go into a little more depth about how your pet has blessed your life at 1-800-585-9396. Or you can text us. You text the letters EWTN to 55000. You wait for a response, and then you put in your first name, and obviously you're going to tell us about your pet. And just to keep in mind, small data rates may apply. Okay. Yeah. Did the housekeeping.
Yeah, and a lot of people today have travel with their pets for their service animals, and it's no longer just for those who are visually impaired. But I'm understanding, Debbie, if I have it right, some people travel with their pets for emotional security and things like that. Mm-hmm. I don't know a lot about all of that and how that works, but I did a little bit of looking online. I knew already, and you did too, Debbie, that there's a day every year, typically October 4th, the Feast of St. Francis, when the church offers a blessing for animals. And there is in the Book of Blessings, folks, there is an order for the blessing of animals. And if you just do a search for that on the internet, I did a search for Book of Blessing for Animals, you will find it. And so what this tells me, Debbie, this shows, I think, just the the beautiful maternal love that the church has for us, looking at all of creation and recognizing the companionship that domesticated animals can provide for us. Obviously, some animals we take for food and things like that, but I just think it's a very beautiful thing. And of course, you mentioned St. Francis already, who really attracted the animals to him.
Jerry, if God took the time to create all the different elements of creation, obviously there was a reason, there was a purpose, there was a blessing that is attached to it in the purest sense. And I think it's vitally important that we do talk about it in the proper perspective. We don't want to have our pets really be elevated higher than human beings, than souls, because we know that the name of the game, if you will, is that we have to get to heaven and get as many souls there as possible. But we do want to honor God's creations, and God created beautiful animals to bless our life. So we want to talk about that today, and you can share in by calling in. Phone lines are already full, but when one comes open, there's room for you at 1-800-585-9396. This is Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
A Lenten Reflection with Father Dominic Legg.
In this season of Lent, we look to Christ on the cross to be our Savior, and being conformed to Christ on the cross is one of the most important things we can do this Lent. If you want an example of the virtues of the Christian life, you'll find them most perfectly in Jesus on the cross, an example of charity, because greater love than this no one has, to lay down his life for his friends, and that's what Jesus did for us. An example of patience, Christ, who was perfectly innocent, but who took up the suffering of the cross for our sake. Humility, the one who is all-powerful, who humbled himself and became obedient even unto death. And, of course, obedience to the Father's will. How about contempt for earthly pleasures? Jesus left behind all the good things of this life because he knew of the power of eternal life that he obtained for us on the cross. Let us be conformed to Christ this Lent.
It's time to turn up the heat. Amazon Fire TV is a device that allows you to instantly stream EWTN to your TV. To get to EWTN on your Fire TV, all you need is a high-speed internet connection, a TV, and the Amazon Fire TV player.
It's March 7th. St. Thomas Aquinas died on this day in 1274. He was one of the greatest theologians in church history, and his writings are still in use today. In 1880, Pope Leo XIII named him the patron saint of Catholic schools, colleges, and universities. Also, Saints Perpetua and Felicity were martyred on this day in 203 AD. These women were baptized during a time of persecution, and both were mauled by wild animals and beheaded for their faith.
Hello, this is Bishop Ronald Gaynor of the Diocese of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
This is Michael Warsaw, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of EWTN.
Hello, this is Father Mitch Pacwa. Have a blessed Lent from all of us at EWTN Radio.
Good to have you with us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. And helping us out, Rich Jesse, Jeff Burson, Matt Gabensky, Tom Price, Jack Williams, Michael McCall, Elena Rodriguez. Great group of folks help to bring you this show every day. So we certainly want to make sure. Mike Peters, make sure that you keep, when you pray for me and Debbie, pray for all of us, because we're out here just trying to do the best that we can. And right before we go to calls, Debbie, I think you made a good point right before the break. You were talking about how we want to avoid raising an animal, a non-human creature, such as an animal and in particular a pet, to a status higher than it should receive. And I think we see in our day today, I know you see this all the time, the pet spas all over the place, pet hotels, and you can leave your pets when you go out of town, and, $75 a night. There's and cameras, and you can see it, and they manicure them. And even where I live, there's a lady who brings a dog to Mass in a baby stroller, and she's been told not to. And I'm not sure what she's thinking, but so anyway, we just want to get that point out that, we want to keep things in perspective here, but at the same time, look at the incredible value and blessings that pets can bring to our lives.
Well, every time I think of getting it out of balance, Jerry, I do think of Leona Helmsley when she passed and she left millions to her Maltese. Now, granted, she got her Maltese after her husband died, and so she found that was a true companion to her, and so she left millions. But I've often thought about that, and I thought, wow, those millions could have really fed a country. And when you think about that, is that a little bit off balance? I mean, somebody would have taken good care of her Maltese. I'm sure it was a very beautiful little dog.
Where did the money end up? I mean, the dog probably died eventually, right?
The dog died in 2011, I believe. The dog died.
And the dog wouldn't know whom to leave it to, right? So where did the money end up?
That's a good question. I don't know. I guess does it go back into the estate, or I don't know how that works.
Maybe it's one of those emails I got that says, you have unclaimed millions. Just call this number or click on this link right here, and the money is yours.
That's right. That is hilarious. Okay, Linda, you are first up. You got in so quickly. You're listening to EWTN Radio in Minnesota on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Linda. Welcome to Take Two.
Hi. Thank you.
Thank you. So tell us, how has your pet blessed your life?
Well, I actually have 5 dogs that I've got. We have a foster home, and we take in teenage children, and we've adopted 9 over the years. So they come and they bond with a different dog each time. Some of our dogs are because we got them for a child then who graduated, went to college, moved on, and we got blessed with the dogs. It is amazing that the work these little animals can do with the toughest teenager. They're just incredible. They show them this incredible unconditional love.
I love that.
So it's just been amazing. And I have to tell you, in church last Sunday, I have 2 children now that we're in the process of adopting. And they were sitting in church, and I never know if they're listening. And the priest said, he has 2 dogs. And he said, do you people realize that dog is God spelled backwards? And sometimes I wonder if God had a choice, if he'd pick that dog over us, if they had a soul. And their ears perked up, and they looked up, and they're going, did you hear he just said, Mom? I thought that was just so great. They are listening.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
but,
Linda, can I just go back to what you said about, because something you said is just fascinating to me. So your dogs that you have, the 5 dogs, they're really kind of, in a way, therapy dogs for the foster kids, so that they can get acclimated, they can get used to, and you said it provides that unconditional love. So have you noticed that certain dogs are they gravitate towards the foster kids, or how does that work? Are certain dogs, like, maybe they go up to the ones that are the most, like, the quietest, the shyest, or how does that work?
Okay, our most aggressive dogs will always go and love the most aggressive child that comes in my house. I've never figured that out. It's like they get that this kid needs them, and so they'll gravitate to that child. They don't like the children that are calmer. And my other 3 little dogs that are just very calm. They love everybody, but they love the calmer people in the house. They maybe will be afraid when one of our children, we have a lot of bipolar children we've had, so they go off. And it's just amazing to watch these little dogs. A couple of them will run, the other 2 will come up, and they'll start licking them, and they'll calm them right down. Just amazing.
Wow. Well, you're amazing for what you do, because that's a beautiful ministry work you're in.
I was going to say the same thing. It's wonderful to hear the stories about the dogs, but to hear what you and I presume your husband are doing, this is just a great, great corporal work, and God is certainly going to bring a lot of graces into the midst of that. Go ahead. You were going to say something else.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, I think we have been blessed through the children. We have grown. Every time you think you know it all, you don't. You get something new in, and after 450 children, I thought, I got this, but then I didn't get this, and I had to say, okay, God, if you want me to do this, you got to help me out here. I can't do this alone.
Wait a minute, Linda, can we interrupt you for 1 second before we let you go? Did you say,
you sure can.
Did you say 450 children?
Yes.
Whoa, wait a minute. You sound way too young. When did you start?
Oh, no. We started 20 years ago, and I'll be 70 in September, yes. And my husband's 75, so.
So you have cared for 400. I've got goosebumps all the way up and down my body. You have cared for 450 children that needed a home and needed love?
Yes, and it's been incredible.
Well,
That is amazing.
I can say it again, you're amazing. That's you're an inspiration to all of us.
It was just a gift from God. That's all it was. Just God gave me that. I wanted to be really intelligent and rich and famous, but he decided to just give me love. That's what I got.
Well, Linda, you're going to be very rich and very famous in spiritual terms, and I mean you are already right now. But I would say that we don't want to, put the cart before the horse and canonize you here. But it sounds like you are storing up a nice little treasure in heaven there, and that's just absolutely beautiful. So thank you, Linda. Thank you so much for gracing our program today and gracing the lives, Debbie, of so many. Imagine how now these 450 have grown into adults and are making great contributions to the world.
I'm still just blown away. I think that is it's miraculous that they were able to do that. And her joy is just coming right through her words. Linda, thank you again. You really, really touched us deeply. Wow, what a great call. Okay, Mary, you are up next. You are listening in Ann Arbor, Michigan on Ave Maria Radio. Hi, Mary. Welcome.
Hey, hi, Debbie and Jerry. Good to be on your show. I just wanted to say how much I enjoy listening to your show, and thank you for being the great host that you are. I think you guys do a fabulous job. And it's also an honor to be on after Linda. I mean, that was really inspirational. But I also wanted to call in today to share how our dog has brought joy to me, my husband, and 3 kids, and how he's enriched our lives. And we got our dog Cooper as a rescue pet almost 13 years ago. He's a mix between a Lab, Springer, and Spaniel. And at that time, we were told he was about 1.5 to 2 years old. So he's close to 15 years old now. But if you had told me any time before we got him, if I thought we would be getting a dog, I would have said, no way, absolutely not. Because I came from a family that had little contact with animals. In fact, I actually grew up scared of dogs, as did my mom and sister. And my husband's family, on the other hand, always had cats and dogs at their house. He came from a big family, and his sisters especially were bringing in stray cats and dogs. So my husband was really used to having animals around him. And I know my husband's brothers would always ask me, so, when I used to go to their house when my kids were small, so when are you getting your dog? And I always put it off, inside, never. But anyway, when my daughter was 9 or 10, she really wanted a pet and had her sights set on either a cat or a dog. And so our whole family actually went to a place that had some rescue animals about an hour from our house. And we initially looked at the cat side, and there was one that my daughter was very interested in, but somehow we found ourselves on the side that had the dogs. And my husband and kids were interacting with some of the dogs, and I was actually standing apart from them, sort of at a distance, just watching the whole thing and not knowing why I was there exactly. But I know that a lady approached me and asked me what kind of dog I was looking for, and I told her, well, I guess I wanted one that didn't bark, didn't shed, didn't jump, basically left you alone. So she pointed to the dog that she was taking care of, and she told me that this dog had good manners and seemed to be very friendly, and I think she had had him for a couple weeks and found him stranded on the highway or something. And I told my husband and kids to come over and see this dog that she was talking about, and they ended up taking Cooper for a little short walk just in the immediate area. And as I saw my family walking the dog and Cooper's tail wagging, I knew we had just gotten ourselves a dog. But anyway, from that day forward until now, he really has brought a lot of joy to our family. He's very good-natured, loves being around people, and really brings companionship and a sense of protection for the kids. And he's really become part of our family. And I think in the 13 years of having him, he's definitely made a positive impact on our family. And we're really grateful to God that he put him in our lives. So, I was hesitant about calling any radio show. I never have done that, and I thought, again, if I had been told a number of years ago I'd be calling about a pet, I would have been shocked. But
well, Mary, I love the fact that you did. Thank you so much for calling, first of all. But also, I just love so many of the dynamics that you talked about. And one thing in particular, first of all, it was a rescue dog, and I think that's beautiful. I see so many of those stickers on people's cars, who rescued who. And I think it's just gives an individual or a family just a great feeling of knowing, hey, sure, you can go down to the pet store and you can pay, a couple $1,000 for a purebred and get the papers and all that. And that's fine. I think that's awesome. But for those who simply just want to kind of do this, I guess, a favor, and have a rescue dog, that's beautiful. But also, Mary, you were talking about the family dynamics. And Debbie, I think this is really a cool part of this, because it's not just a mom or a dad who goes out and unilaterally picks out a pet, brings it home, and says, hey, here's our new pet. But making it a family type of an event, I think then every member of the family feels a connection, a bond, and a sense of ownership. So I love that whole idea.
Oh, I totally agree. I think it was a beautiful story. Mary, I just have to ask you, you said initially you wanted a dog that kind of just left you alone. I'm sure your dog doesn't leave you alone, correct?
Believe it or not, he is a pretty good dog in terms of that. Like, he doesn't really require a lot of, petting, and he's about, 45 to 50 pounds, and he is one to, obviously, when he needs something and all that, he'll come, but he's been a good dog that way. We take him on very long walks, and he's been healthy that way, and he enjoys... unfortunately, I do feed him human food, so he especially likes me. But he really, doesn't require a lot of attention. But he does love being around people.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you kind of bought his love with the food, right?
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
That's smart. I like
bribery
that.
will get you everywhere.
Yes, but I did see your dog, Debbie, too. Is it a she, right?
She. It's a she,
She's
yeah.
really cute. Really cute.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And she knows it, too. She acts it like it.
Yes.
She's got a little bit of an attitude, but it's okay.
Well, the one thing our dog has, too, is little spots on his feet. And at that time, I had no idea. I just didn't really have any experience with dogs whatsoever. But anytime we took him anywhere, people would admire and say, "Oh my gosh, he's so cute with those spots on his feet." And I had no idea about that. I didn't really even notice that, but it's cute. They are cute in terms of not only looks, but just disposition, and that's what you get to love about your dog. So
Right. Real quickly, Mary and Jerry, I just want to share this with you. You talk about the spots on your dog's paws. My pastor has a dog, and I believe it was a rescue dog as well. It's completely black fur, and then it has a little white square on its neck. So it looks like a priest. It looks like a priest.
No way.
And the dog's name is Hope. And I remember when he first got her, I said, "Father, do you realize that Hope looks like a priest?" He goes, "Why do you think I got her?" And it was pretty funny. And so it's hilarious. But talk about how providential that was, Jerry, that he found her, and it was she has been the best dog. She does tricks and everything. She's amazing. So it's interesting how dogs sometimes find us. Don't you think?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Often if you go to a place like Mary and her family went, it's just I don't want to say fate, but you're looking around and there's just somehow a connection is established between a pet that you're supposed to have, you're supposed to take home. So, Mary, thank you so much. We're going to get to some other calls here. Thank you all for your patience. We're going to get each and every one of you on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie today. Phone number, we're talking about how your pet has been a blessing to you, and maybe losing a pet has been, maybe a bit of a challenge for you, and perhaps the Lord blessed you with another one, and that has kind of helped to make things better for you. We can talk about this or anything related to this topic at 1-800-585-9396. A lot of activity on social media, Debbie, too, as well. K.A. said, "My Shih Tzu," if I pronounce that right, Shih Tzu is my constant companion. I'm waiting for our parish blessing of the animals.
Oh, nice. And then Kathleen wrote in, she said, "Pets make my heart full of love. They love you unconditionally." I think we've established that today. That's definitely a true statement that the pets love unconditionally. So this is Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We're talking about how your pet has blessed your life, and we always weave it into our spirituality. So stay with us. There's more to come.
Monsignor Charles Pope.
And I always say to my people, my parishioners, for you I'm your pastor, with you I'm your brother, but from you I'm your son, because they have formed me so beautifully over the years and taught me to trust God and to praise God, and they brought the Holy Spirit alive in me in just ways I could never have imagined, coming out of seminary. I had all the intellectual stuff in the seminary, but my priestly heart has been formed by my people.
Morning Glory, Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. Eastern on EWTN Radio.
Millennials, according to a new study, are definitely the me, myselfie, and I generation. Hi, I'm Teresa Tomeo, host of EWTN's Catholic Connection with another Media Minute. A new study out of Ohio finding that millennials are the most narcissistic generation in history. Dr. John Huber, a psychologist in Austin, Texas, says he's not surprised at the results of the Case Western Reserve report.
We've kind of gone from like the 80s with the me generation to what do you think about me generation. They're very centered on how they're perceived by other people.
Huber also says social media reinforces millennials' narcissism.
Snapchat, Facebook feeds their narcissistic ideologies that it is really all about them. And then we look back on the Kardashians, who are famous for being famous.
Researchers also finding that millennials don't like being called narcissistic, even though they admit they are. I'm Teresa Tomeo with another Media Minute right here on EWTN.
Looking for a solid and dependable Catholic radio station in your area? One that's uplifting and authoritative? A trustworthy tool for the new evangelization? God may be calling you to a mission in Catholic radio. Find out how you can start a Catholic radio station where you live, powered by the truth of the Church and EWTN's dynamic radio programming.
Contact me, Jack Williams, at 205-795-5756 or jwilliams@EWTN.com.
EWTN. Live truth. Live Catholic.
We are here because you are there on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We're going right back to your calls at 800-585-9396. The church has a day and an order, if you will call it an order, for the blessing of animals out of the Book of Blessings, and pets can bring such joy to our lives. Even we hear stories, Debbie, pets have helped to save lives, and I don't know if it's quite to the degree of a Lassie or a Flipper, but there are some remarkable stories, and we're hearing about the love of people with their pets here. So, Patricia, we're going to go to you next in Bluebell, Pennsylvania, listening to EWTN Radio there. Hi, Patricia. Welcome. You are on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. What's your take on this, Patricia?
So, again, I apologize for bringing the conversation down a little bit. This question is because my sister, who is struggling, terribly going through a divorce, and I'd love to invite her to my home. However, last year she got a Great Dane, and her dog is about 4 feet tall and 180 pounds, and is the love of her life, and potentially even saved her life as she did struggle with depression. However, it's difficult to invite her because she's going to turn around and say, well, I can't come unless I can bring my dog. And could I potentially host her and her dog? Yes. Would it be really hard? That's also yes as well. So I kind of feel like I know what the answer is, but I just wanted to throw it out there.
Well, Patricia, my husband, Marty, had a Great Dane before we met, and you're right. It's like a small human being. I mean, it's huge. And yeah, and it's especially if your sister has the Great Danes sleep inside. That can be depending on how your home is set up. I mean, Marty used to say the Great Dane would knock things off the tables. They had to remove everything because of the size of the animal. So my question is have you ever thought about just you packing up and seeing her and visiting her and making it just a wonderful experience by you going to her? Because then she's in her element and she's in her environment. The dog is as well, and the stress won't be on you. Because if you do host your sister and you're stressed out over the dog, that's not going to make for a very great trip. So have you ever thought about just visiting her?
Yes, I have, and I am. It is on my to-do list to do that and go visit with her, and I have in the past. But I did want to kind of, when I call her and reach out to her, just because she's by herself, and my life is just so busy right now, I just said, "Oh, you come join us." But yeah, no, you're right. I'll just try to make more of a time to.
Patricia, are there other siblings, other family members, maybe extended family or friends that she could?
Yeah. I'm not her only support system. Actually, I'm very blessed that my younger sister lives nearby and has been very supportive of her as she's been going through the divorce. I'm a state away, and it's about a 4-hour drive. But my younger sister is much closer, so she does have the support of her younger sister and some of her children. But
but here's the thing, Patricia. You're doing a really nice thing, inviting your sister to come, and because you're showing that beautiful sibling love and support. But I'm this is just me personally. I'm a firm believer that if it's something that's going to possibly cause an issue or a problem, or even just that sense of stress, then it defeats the whole purpose. You might as well go into it with a much more peaceful disposition and outlook. Then you have a better chance of the event happening or the stay together happening that's much more fruitful, especially from a spiritual sense. I just know that if a sibling of mine came over with a Great Dane, my house is not set up for it. So things would be knocked all over the place, and I probably by the end of a couple days will be asking my sibling to leave. I mean, just to be really honest, it just wouldn't work for me because I don't like when things are totally, messed up in the house. Right. So you have to really kind of decide. But I'm a firm believer on that you shouldn't have to feel guilty for not wanting something to be. That's just me. How do you feel, Jerry?
No, I think that's a very good way to put it. Marmadukes are big.
Yeah.
And they do cause issues, but that's why I brought up, maybe there are other options here, but I do like the suggestion too of perhaps Patricia, you maybe going to see her for a couple days, or I don't know, maybe we talked early in the show about there are places you can put pets up, you can board them for a few days, and I don't know if she'd be open to spending a few days without
one of her family, one of her children coming and taking care of. Just for the overnight or for the day, or so that she could visit without the dog.
Right. But I think it's beautiful that you care so much about your sister that you want her to visit and you want to be there for her. I think that's wonderful. A lot of siblings don't even do that, Patricia, and I think that's really wonderful. And I just want to affirm what you're doing for your sister, and especially going through a divorce. It is hard, and she must feel very, very alone right now, and that support is very helpful. So you're awesome. You're a great sister. So thank you.
And the dog is very good for her. She got the dog right after she separated, and I do believe the dog potentially saved her life so many times when she was just so depressed, and but she still did rise to the occasion. Well, I have to do this because I have to take care of this, huge dog that she loves.
Right,
so,
right, and I understand Great Danes are very loyal, and they do give you that just huge amount of love when you see them, because Marty keeps talking about it. He often says to me, my dream would be, Deb, if we could just have a couple acres so we can get a Great Dane again. And I keep thinking, I pray we never get those acres.
Well, when a Great Dane jumps up on you, they're probably taller than you, right?
Well, that's what he said. He said the dog would be waiting for him when he would pull into the driveway over the fence. The two paws and the head would be over the fence waiting for him.
Not Marmaduke, it's Kilroy. Okay, thank you, Patricia. Lots of calls here we want to fit in today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. So we're going to go to Jack next in Lancaster, California. listening to EWTN Radio, tuned in on Sirius XM 130 today. Hi, Jack. Welcome to the show.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hi.
I wanted to say I took my boy Joe, who is a golden retriever, down to Congress, and I walked past your booth, and I think Debbie's and my eyes caught each other's. But I had my boy Joe, he's a golden retriever, with me.
Jack,
So
I remember you very well. As a matter of fact, I feel so bad because I was trying to help Jerry. I believe Jerry was doing the Vocation Boom broadcast.
Yes, he
And
was.
He was. And I was trying to help Jerry locate Bishop, is it Van? Bishop Van, Jerry?
Van, yeah.
Yeah, Bishop Van. And Jack, you came by, and I think you spoke to Tom Price, and I meant to talk to you.
I
and
did.
then I turned around and you were gone, but your dog was beautiful.
He is a emotional support dog, and I take him. I know you guys aren't going to want to hear this, but he goes to Mass with me every night. And then on Sunday at 9:30 Mass, we are the door greeters there. And when we're not there, everybody says, "Where's Joe?" So they miss him. And I just love my boy. And the way I got him, the wife and I were at a winery doing a wine tasting. And the barista said, "I've got these golden retriever puppies." And I just went nuts. I said, "Honey, we got to have them." And so we went over there and picked Joe up. He's 8 years old now, and I just cannot live without him. I know dogs don't go to heaven, but dogs do have souls, but they do not go to heaven.
All right, Jack, I've got a question for you here, Jack.
Go ahead.
You may have heard, if you didn't hear earlier in the show, I had a Shepherd Husky mix one time. This is about 25 years ago. I have not had a dog for a long time. I want to get another dog, Jack, but I travel all the time. I'm gone a lot. I do share my house with a friend, and so there's somebody here, but it wouldn't be right to get a dog and then kind of foist it on somebody else. So a dog like I prefer woofers, not yappers. Debbie and I were talking about that before the show.
I hate yappers.
Well, so I don't know that I could do a dog like that though. What would be your advice on that? How high maintenance is a dog like that?
Joe is not high maintenance at all. Normally, he is very, very quiet. He loves trash trucks, so he wolfs at those. But knocking at the door, he's pretty quiet, and he's a wolfer. But he is the best. Everybody just loves him, no matter where I take him. I have a hard time going to the grocery store without getting mobbed. "Oh, can I pet your dog?"
Well, Jack, I will tell you, your dog is very beautiful and just has beautiful eyes and beautiful coat. I mean, I love golden retrievers, but don't they shed, Jack?
Well,
come on, Jack.
Yes, they do.
See, that's the problem.
Yeah, at least once a week, if not twice. But that's what you have to pay for love.
That's true. But Jack, I again, please forgive me for not having the moment to chat with you. I did make eye contact with you, but I saw you talking to Tom.
Did.
So please forgive me.
I've been wanting to call you all week or since then and say, "Debbie, did you see me?" So
I did.
Well, this is the perfect show for that.
This was great.
Earlier in the week, you'd mentioned about having fur babies on, so I've been waiting for this. And God said, "Call them up." So I did and got on, so I'm so happy to be able to talk to you guys.
Fantastic, Jack. Good to have you with us. Thanks. Take good care of Joe, and I'm sure Joe will take good care of you. It sounds like a wonderful fit.
Joe's
so thank
a beautiful
you, Jack.
dog. Beautiful.
We
Thanks,
appreciate
Jack.
that very, very, very much. And whether you have a pet or not, you can be a great EWTN media missionary. And what that is it's somebody in your community. You could be the point person. Think about this for a minute. So many people could hear about EWTN on TV and radio and news and print and publishing, all because of you. So if you've ever thought, "Gee, I'd love to be part of what EWTN is doing," Debbie, this is a great way for folks to get involved.
I love the Media Missionaries. It's a wonderful ministry, so please look into it and possibly be one in your local area. It would really help to increase the awareness of how EWTN is working to really change lives and help souls. So Media Missionaries, and the ones that are already, you guys are awesome, but we need many, many more. This is a big work. Jerry?
Yeah, before we go to our next call, I think we've had all dog owners so far, and that's fine. We've got many more on the line. We're going to get to these calls here, but I'd love to hear from someone who owns more of an exotic pet.
Oh,
like
okay.
I mentioned snakes
like an iguana
or spiders.
or something?
Iguana.
Jerry, can I just interrupt you for 1 second? You made a comment that you want a dog that barks really, loudly or whatever. You heard Gracie's bark. She's got a very loud bark, and she's a 10-pound little Maltese. I've even had people come to the door to deliver packages, and they're like, "Can you put your dog away?" I mean, and she's just this little thing. You just have to find a little dog that doesn't shed with a big mouth.
Well, yeah, it doesn't even have to be a bassy bark. Just I don't know. Anyway,
you don't like the yappers. I get it. Okay, so we want an exotic animal owner to call.
Yeah, if there is one. In the meantime, we'll just continue through the great calls. Helen is in Colorado listening to EWTN Radio on Denver Catholic Radio. Hi, Helen. What's your contribution to our show on pets and the blessing they've been in our lives?
Well, I got my dog through my students who pushed it on me, and I am not a pet person. I don't own a pet, and they said that I needed a dog, and during that time I was really it was really the lowest part of my marriage, and for some reason they insisted that I get this dog, and they brought me to Denver in the Dumb Friends League, and they saw this dog who has a wing in the back. It's like a little angel wings on the back with his coloring. So they said, this is your dog, and it really looks a very ugly dog to me, because for me a beautiful dog is like a Maltese, and this dog is a Chiweenie. It's a wiener dog and Chihuahua, and I got him when he was 3 months old. In 3 days, I fell in love with this dog, and the dog is very. We named him Angelo because of his wings. And then little did I know that this dog has a lot of tricks on his belt. And one of them is being a Catholic dog. What's this? One time I bought a camera, and I was just trying to capture his tricks, and I was also cleaning up my altar, and all my little images were down. So I told him who St. Joseph is, who St. Anthony, who is St. Francis, and I think, what's the other? There's 4 of them. And after, and then I shuffled it, and I asked him who the saints were, and he pointed at the right saints. Every time I asked them who's the, who does mommy pray to for all her, for impossible things that she wanted to happen, and she would point to St. Jude. And then I said, okay, so I thought that was just a fluke. So I said, okay, who's the friends of the animals? And she points to Saint Francis. And I said, who does mommy pray to when she lost things? And she points to St. Anthony. And what is that? Oh, St. Joseph. I said, so who's the who's the carpenter? And he would point into St. Joseph. Those things that I asked of him about the animals and about who the carpenter is and who the friend of St. Clair is, I didn't tell him that. And he pointed out and got it right. And,
all right, well, Helen, I have to ask, have you repeated this 100 times?
No,
this was this just one time, or did you repeat this test, this quiz?
No, this is the first time he saw these saints, and I told him about. All I told him is the name of the saints. I didn't tell him who the friends of the animals is, who St. Clair's friend is, who's the carpenter. I didn't tell that to him. I was just experimenting on him.
Right.
I didn't even tell him where Jesus was. And I asked him, where is Jesus? And he pointed to St. Joseph and pointed to the baby Jesus in St. Joseph. And
Debbie, do you think Gracie could get a quiz like that right?
She knows where her food is. That's about it. She
Well, he wanted to know. Well, you might not believe me, but if
we don't doubt
him, YouTube him, and it's the title is Angelo the Little Angel and the Saints. You will see. You will find out what happened that time. I never repeated that again because I was like, oh my God, there must be a spirit in the house that's telling him all these things. But you can YouTube.
It's pretty amazing. Yeah, that's pretty amazing, Helen. But here's the thing: I wanted just to say that you had the angel wings, that's why you named him Angelo. How amazing is that your students had the gumption to approach you, know that you needed a companion, and then it turns out that Angelo was just the perfect companion for you to get you through some of the life's pitfalls. And I think that's wonderful. And then to come to find that he's got some really unusual gifts, I think that's pretty amazing. So I'm just wondering, do your students realize how Angelo has blessed your life?
Oh yeah. Actually, they still visit him.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they taught him how to play basketball. So he plays basketball. He plays dad. And he always wanted to, he's always so friendly with everybody. He remembers my students when they come and visit.
Okay, so now you're going to have to do us a favor. Could you send us a picture to take 2, the number 2, at EWTN.com? Could you send us a picture of Angelo? Would you do that?
Oh, yeah. Hold on just a second.
Yeah, it's take 2, the number 2, at EWTN.com. Pretty easy. And you can reach us, and if you could send us a picture, that would be awesome. So take 2, the number 2, at EWTN.com. Thanks, Helen. You are awesome. We need to get Angelo together with my pastor's, Father Steve's dog, Hope, because Hope prays. When he taught her how to pray, he'll say, Hope, it's time to pray. And she'll put her 2 paws up on his arm, and she'll bow her head until he tells her to stop. Is that amazing?
Beautiful. Yeah, I'm not doubting anything that Helen is saying, and I think it's beautiful because, we hear stories quite often of, miraculous, and whether this is miraculous or not, but, pets and animals doing certain things, inspired and moved perhaps by God to do such. So,
sure.
Yeah, I think
Francis
it's, plus, like you said, Debbie, just getting back to the core, beautiful nugget of Helen's call, her students getting her that pet, to really lift her up at a certain time in her life. So thank you, Helen. Take 2 at EWTN.com. We'd love to see a picture of Angelo. And we're going to go to Katie next, listening to EWTN Radio in Ann Arbor, Michigan on Ave Maria Radio. Hi, Katie. Welcome.
Hi. I just wanted to call in and thank you for doing this show. I just recently got a cat a year ago, and I never grew up with a pet or anything, and I always kind of thought people who loved their pets so much were kind of weird, but my husband and I have been trying to have a baby for a few years, and getting this pet has just been a real blessing to me, just to have something to take care of, and she's a very affectionate cat, so it's just been really healing for me while I wait for my child that I hope God blesses me with. So I just thought it was really interesting. I don't know, feeling that was surprising feeling. So
right. So Katie, let's first of all, what's your cat's name?
Callie. She's a calico.
Calico, that's what I figured. Okay.
Yeah.
And so it really taught you how to really care for someone else, and I think that is a wonderful thing. And the beauty of that is when, God willing, when the children come into the home and that expands, there's more of that joy, there's more of that happiness, and the family just seems to grow, whether it's with the children or with pets. It's a beautiful thing. It kind of evolves. And I think that's wonderful that you picked Callie as your first pet, because I do think it does get you prepared, because when you do have to care for someone else and do things, maybe like you might be sitting on the couch and I don't know if the cat has a dog, a doggy door or cat door to go in and out, but you have to get up and do things, and it may not be in your time. You have to do it kind of when the pet wants it, and it does teach you that, because that's what kids are going to do. They're going to wake you up in the middle of the night. You're going to have to be doing things that you didn't think you were going to have to do, and I do think it does help to get prepared. Jerry, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think it's all, of course, done out of love. I'm sure, whether it's a pet or a baby, but I'm just going to just assure you, Katie, that Debbie and I and all of our listening family, we're going to pray to God, as Debbie said, God willing, that you do manage to conceive, you and your husband, and have as many beautiful children as your heart's desire and His will would have you bring into this world. I just the only suggestion I would make there, pray to Saint Gerard. He's my patron. I'm named after him, and my mother could not conceive, Katie, and she prayed to Saint Gerard and had 5 kids. So I'm sure you probably are aware of Saint Gerard's intercession for mothers who are trying to conceive or expectant mothers.
That's true. Marty's middle name is Gerard as well, because his mother prayed to Saint Gerard as well and had a bunch of kids. But real quickly, anything else, Katie? Before we go on, I just wanted to say my health coaching hat's going on right now, Katie. When you do find out that you're pregnant, please make sure you talk to your doctor about the fact that cat litter and stuff can't be near the pregnancy. You know probably all about that already.
I've heard about that. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Well, thank you so much for your prayers. I really appreciate that.
Well, keep us posted. We want to hear how, as your family starts to grow and expand, we want to journey with you. So if you'll do that, we would appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Katie. Oh, that's so sweet. Now we got Katie called in with cats. So now we just need your exotic pet owner, Jerry, before the close of the show. I don't know if we're going to get it. Okay, Brenda, we have just a couple minutes left. You're listening in New Hampshire on the Station of the Cross. Hi, Brenda. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you for taking my call. I have an incredible story to share. I have a blessed statue of Our Lady of Lourdes in my dining area. And 2 years ago, I loaned it out to a friend of mine who was dying of brain cancer. And she had 2 labs that slept upstairs with her every night until the statue came to their house. She put it on her fireplace. And every morning, one of the labs would carry every single toy of his down and leave it at the feet of the Blessed Mother, and that's where he would sleep. This went on for an entire month. Eileen would have to come down every morning and move the toys out of the way because they were just in the way. Now, just recently in November, I have a rescue shepherd husky.
Got about 15 seconds, Brenda.
Diagnosed with cancer, and every morning he now lays by the feet of the Blessed Mother. So there's something, they feel a presence or something, and he's doing really good. He's on his 3rd bout of chemo, and he bounces right back like nothing's wrong. So I really feel that, I bless him every morning and say a prayer, and I feel that he's being healed, or I'm getting more time with him anyway.
That is beautiful. Brenda, that is a fantastic way to end this conversation. And Pam and the others on the line, Patricia, just wish we had time, but Debbie, the hour passes, and another fantastic show. I really feel so inspired and blessed every time we have this opportunity to be with our listeners.
I agree, Jerry. I completely agree. Dear listeners, you make this show spectacular, so thank you so much. We could have done this for a couple more hours, but here's the great news. You have 24 hours a day of EWTN radio, so stay tuned in. There's more shows planned for you. Until tomorrow, Jerry and I, we want to wish you a beautiful and blessed day. See you real soon.